Nerderotic.com.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from Nerdrotic.com and my mom's vagina and San Diego County, California. Hope everybody is having a glorious Monday. I guess as we slowly tread into the new normal, people are starting to go to work more regularly, at least here in California. I know the rest of the country, and don't even start with me, Florida and Texas and South Dakota. I know. But to us Clownifornians, it's all new. And this just in. Wait, ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news. The fix is in. The fix is in. They don't even hide this shit anymore. They don't even give a fuck. We are their bitches. It's probably not a good way to start out a live stream, but I don't care. Because we got an article about Gavin Newsom's donations for his recall that he's probably going to win. He won it a couple of weeks ago by giving away some more of the state's money. So we'll talk about that. Lord of the Rings gatekeeping. You shall not pass. Yes, we need Lord of the Rings gatekeeping. It might be the final battleground. They want to erase Tolkien. They want to erase the foundation of the Lord of the Rings, the Silmarillion, the Hobbit, American mythology, storytelling, all of that shit. We're going to talk about that. Loki's ratings, if you can call them that, might have gone down a little bit. It's hard to say. We're going to go over that. Black Widow may be tracking poorly. We don't know about that. There is some confusion with the customer as far as where movies are released. We'll go over that. And, Ollie Alexander is his name. For Doctor Who, he was going to be the Doctor until he wasn't going to be the Doctor. But I guess we can all discuss why it doesn't really matter who plays the Doctor at this point. Short of David Tennant coming back, or Matt Smith or Peter Capaldi, which won't happen. That sucker is dead. Another franchise sacrificed on the altar of agenda. But I do have, it's going in one of my videos, but I'll play the audio. Bill Maher was interviewing Quentin Tarantino, and he said something pretty interesting, I thought. And I think it's a sign of the turn of the tide. I think this year is going to be a lot of, it's going to get worse before it gets better. But it's going to be pretty bad this year. Just be ready. It's going to be pretty bad, and I'll tell you why. But first, let's welcome some peeps. Michael Hicks. Oh, I have announcements too. So I have announcements as well. Since I'm still banned on Twitter. I'm a terrible YouTuber. I need to put that in my title. Banned on Twitter. They're trying to silence me. I'm a fool. Maybe I'll change the title later. Well, suspended on Twitter, but banned sounds so much better. Or canceled. Should I say canceled? Canceled by Twitter. Oh, we have some George R. R. Martin news. Yeah, this one's pretty funny because I think it really does say why The Winds of Winter is delayed besides him having like a terrible work ethic. But let's start with you guys. Dr. Dave, Joey 101, 101K, Joe Zappa, any relation to Frank there? Let me get my other mouse going here because you guys are going way too fast. Bogey, Red Baron Snoopy, Yellow Flash, what's up? Should I put banned? Is that better? I'm a terrible YouTuber, dude. What am I going to replace in my title now? Because I was really loving my title. Yeah, I'll give me a second. I'll put banned on Twitter. As far as Aluvrian, I can never get your name right, man, so I'm sorry. Alvarain Imakara, announcement on that in just a second. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. What's going on? Yeah, Bio1656. Sorry, MP Cash Kester. What's up? Ingel Atara. Is that how you say it? Grant Matheson. Hail Barfly Coach and the Jinja Ninja. Ben Master. Roland New. Han BB. Darius Munchausen. Grimaton. And JD Cox. Speaking of Cox Cable is what I have, and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. So, yeah, welcome back to the now regular Nerdrotic Nooner. So, I get a lot of emails. I do. And I appreciate that. We try to get back to them as soon as possible. Some of the most requested stuff has been this show. Has been requested, and people have gotten kind of mad at me for blowing it off. And it's been because of work. My schedule's been kind of crazy. The move is ramping up. Yes, just in case you're new to the channel, I am leaving my home state of California, born and raised here, never intended to leave here, never thought I would leave here. I was going to live here the rest of my life because I love it here, except it's run by complete morons, largely voted in by a large contingent of low information voters that just outnumber us 1,000 to 1 right now. So there are a lot of good Californians, and not all of California is San Francisco or L.A., and unfortunately San Diego now. San Diego used to be the one sane city, and for the most part, it's still better, much better than Los Angeles and San Francisco, although it's going downhill pretty fast. It used to be a very clean city. Now it's, homeless people running rampant, and I'm very sad about that. And there is a solution out there somewhere, but we're never going to get there because we're in a one-party state. And when we're in a one-party state, they have a mandate, and the rest of us are screwed. Whether we're in the center or libertarian or a moderate anarchist or a Republican or a conservative or even a classic liberal now, they're starting to get run out. And California elected a former San Francisco mayor, and this is consequences. Voting has consequences. It has consequences, especially when we don't take we treat a vote like we're rooting for a team, and that's the hardest thing to fight. Is, well, that guy's on my side, though he's wrong. I'm going to completely back him because he's on my side. That's bullshit. Question everybody, including your own people, all the time. You know, there's like two kinds of sports ball fans, right? There's three actually. There's the front runners. There's the people who their team could do no wrong, largely Raider fans. And then there's the kind of fan I was, where I would be criticizing my team more than the opponents would when they were being stupid, because the Chargers took stupid to a whole new level. And then they moved to LA and broke my heart. But that's another story for another day. And that's where we're at with politics right now. And the game that's being played is now being played right in front of us, and we are screwed here in this state. I like fighting a battle. I don't like running from shit, but no, it's time to go. I think I can be more free somewhere else, and I enjoy freedom. And when in San Francisco, now that all the dust is settled, it turns out that locking it down as much as they did was just the safe thing to do, so they could say save lives, and they can reshape things the way they like. This one party system says they are after the rich guy. They're after the rich guy. They're going for the rich to help the poor. Bullshit. They're going for the middle class. They're going for the independent business owner because they cannot be regulated, or, well, they can be, but not that much. They can't be 100% controlled because they are not reliant on the state. The state wants us all reliant on them. There's a lot of very comfortable people who are very comfortable trusting the government these days. A lot of good conformists, and a lot of that has come from my generation, which has been one of my greatest disappointments. There's a lot of very corporate conforming aging punk rockers out there who claim to be rebels, but they are just subservient little followers right now, and it's pretty sad. If the business owners, most people don't want a confrontation. Most people don't want to get into any trouble, and the government knows that. They push the boundaries, and now there's a lot of business owners who don't have a business anymore. And unfortunately, the news isn't talking to us. And that includes white people, Latino, Black, Asian, all make shapes and sizes. Female owned, LGBTQ plus owned. And now they're just fleeing to the four winds. And this is the backbone of the state. See, Gavin Newsom doesn't think he needs the small business owners anymore because he has those giant corporations who are going to pick up and leave if they're smart. Right now, Silicon Valley has a very sweet deal with the government, but eventually they'll pick up and leave too. This is the worst state to do business. And our business has been decimated, and we will pay the price. And all of a sudden now we're going to pay everybody's late rent. So that's how Gavin Newsom won the recall. He's going to pay all past due rent. And listen, I have a heart. If there's a single mom or a single dad out there that couldn't get childcare because they shut down the schools because the teachers unions run this fucking state, and they couldn't, they had to stay home and they lost their job. Yeah, it's the state's fault. But if en masse, say the business owner said, fuck it, we're not closing, we're going to stay open, there's not much they could have done. But what was really helpful for that was all the rioting over the summer. That their little police squad went out and rioted, and hey, it's just stuff. It's just stuff. And it's people voicing their oppression by burning down the people who had nothing to do with it, burning down their lives. And they did their master's bidding. They did their master's bidding. So that's why I'm the fuck out of here. So the move is ramping up. We're putting our house on the market very, very soon. It takes a lot of work. The great Mrs. Nerdrotic has been handling 90% of it, and she can't, because we both still have to work. I wish I was Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro. Well, I don't wish I was them. Their bank account would be nice, but I'm pretty happy where I am. But I don't have the money to hire people to move me and pack my stuff and build me a new studio and then build me another one when I realize that the first one I built looks like shit. Joe Rogan. I like his second one so much better. It looks so much better. So it takes a long time. So that's where we're at with that. And because of that, I'm going to need my weekends free. To create content and to maybe travel if I need to. go check out a house or go back to San Francisco. I'm going to have to go back to San Francisco, which sucks, to get the rest of my comic collection very soon, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to need my weekends free. This is going to be a 3 to 4 month process. So as I announced on Facebook, couldn't announce it on Twitter. So Doomcock announced it on Twitter. The Inquisition is no more. And when I get settled in the permanent location, we will revisit it then. And again, that's going to be 3 to 4 months later in the year. But we are going to do an Exozone weekly starting this Thursday. Now, this Thursday, it's going to be at noon, but it's going to change. I don't know what time. I was thinking Exozone's more of an evening show to me. So we are going to do the Exozone. That is probably one of the most requested shows for this channel. And it's got nothing to do with pop culture or the culture war or TV or movie reviews, and everything to do with UFOs and ancient civilizations. Shit I'm completely into. It's going to be on this channel on Thursday with Doomcock weekly. I am looking for a little help with that. I'm still thinking through the process because that show does take some preparation as far as looking up stories and possibly booking guests. So I'll let you guys know when I come up with something. So that's the announcement. So it's kind of good news, sad news. Sorry, but that's how life goes. Now, that was I had a lot of things to actually talk out with Doomcock, and just to make it 100% clear again, just in case you're new to the channel, I don't play internet theater. I don't discuss things on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram because I'm 51 years old and I don't have time for that shit. I prefer to have conversations. Once we have conversations, things usually get handled just like that. So they're handled. It's done. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty cool show. We've got a lot to talk about this Thursday. So on to this show. And the first thing we're going to go over is a Lord of the Rings article from the National Review. Hello, chat. It's pretty interesting. So I think there was, we'll start out with this. The reason Yellow Flash makes videos, I make videos, Jeremy makes videos, Doomcock makes videos, Az makes videos, is, it's how we see the world and cutting through the bullshit. I think that's the main thing I do on this channel, is try to cut through the bullshit, because we're being fed bullshit on a daily, minutely basis. And the access media knows it. Hollywood knows it. BBC knows it. The mainstream media knows it, because they know most people don't have time to pay attention, past the headlines, read between the lines. And now we're getting like straight up lies being fed to us. And I think one of the worst things I've seen, and this is going to be The Last Jedi 2.0, is revisionist Tolkien. Revisionist Tolkien, the woke washing of Tolkien, the rationalization of Tolkien. And a lot of this has to do with the Tolkien Society and the artists involved with this show, because they have bought in to this radical, for lack of a better term, radical far leftist ideology of CRT. And they're trying to fit the very square peg of CRT and identity politics and intersectional feminism, mainly intersectional feminism, into Tolkien, which is the diametric opposite, which is the anti-woke. And I love what this headline says. And people go National Review, and I don't know, this might be right wing. You know what? I cover left wing news and articles all the fucking time. It's good to get another perspective. This is J.R.R. Tolkien's work transcends wokeness. That's a very nice way of saying it. It absolutely does. Star Wars, George Lucas's original trilogy, transcends wokeness. It transcends time. The reason these things are classics is they are timeless. They are not of their time, meaning they don't have personal politics from the year. I mean, Star Wars doesn't have 1977 politics in it. Like, you don't see like the land speeder waiting in a gas line or a fuel line, you know. So let's see what Bradley Berzer has to say. I don't know if I'll agree with all this or not. We'll see. We'll see. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with gatekeeping when your position is, I don't want anything to change. This is a timeless story. There's nothing that needs adapting or anything. You just cast some actors and you try to make this as Tolkien as possible. Now, it's a giant uphill battle, and even if they had Frank Darabont and Ronald D. Moore and a non-woke Noah Hawley involved in this show, I doubt it would be that great because there's no dialogue. There's no dialogue that from that. They are basically adapting, you know, a history book, and there's no characterization. There's no real plot. You know that it's an uphill battle, and it's going to be a giant uphill battle with two brand new showrunners who have only written a half of a script, not even a whole script. Their IMDb is they helped with Star Trek Beyond. After the annihilating traumas of the last century, it's merely perverse to ascribe greatness to this airy but strangely simplified mock Teutonic Neverland, where races and species intermingle at will and great battles are fought, but there is never any remotely convincing treatment of those fundamental human concerns through which all societies ultimately define themselves: religion, philosophy, politics, and the context of sexual relations. Andrew Rissick wrote in the year 2000 in The Guardian. Rissick, who by no means is alone in his criticism of what was then being recognized as the most popular book of the 20th century. Others made similar comments, all aghast at the primacy of place that The Lord of the Rings had won. Germaine Greer thought the trilogy reactionary against the 20th century as it ignored politics, war, the black movement, and the sexual revolution. Tolkien, that's for children, isn't it? Or the adult slow. Susan Jeffries wrote in the London Times, it just shows these follies of these polls, the folly of teaching people to read. You see, there's some people who absolutely need to see that stuff all the time. The cult mentality has been around for a long, long time. As a matter of fact, I left this out of my Lord of the Rings video from a month ago. The first to two, of a guy essentially saying that back in the 70s, saying that, no, he basically said, escapism isn't good. We constantly need to be telling people of the suffering. And if you're not thinking about suffering all the time of your fellow man, you're inhuman. Actually, we're wired not to do that because not too long ago when we were hunting and gathering, our wives, our children, or I don't know, our pack, whatever, would they members would drop dead right next to you all the time, and you still had to eat. You still had to move forward. As I've always said, this is the byproduct of a very affluent society. We have a lot of useless shit to think about, right? And Tolkien was a man of his time, out of time. He hated the 20th century. He hated the combustion engine. He loved the Victorian era. And he just wanted to fucking get out. And that's what this whole thing was a guy dealing with change and doing it in his own way. And he wrote this beautiful thing that can't be equaled and will never be equaled. Jump forward 2 decades, and the once venerable Tolkien Society of the United Kingdom, established in 1969, that's when I was established too, with J.R.R. Tolkien as its perennial president and Tolkien's daughter, Priscilla Tolkien, as a vice president, really wants to undo the harsh words of Rissick, Greer, and Jeffries. How? By talking a lot about the most pressing concerns of modern and woke left: diversity, inclusivity, and, above all, sexuality. As the Tolkien Society website describes in the upcoming annual conference, Tolkien and Diversity, while interested in the topic of diversity has steadily grown within Tolkien research, it is now receiving more critical attention than ever before, spurred by recent interpretations of Tolkien's creations and the cast list of the upcoming Amazon show, The Lord of the Rings. It is crucial we discuss the theme of diversity in relation to Tolkien. How do adaptations of Tolkien's works from film, art, and music open a discourse and I just lost my place. Damn it. I hate it when that happens. How adaptations of Tolkien's works from film and art and music open a discourse on diversity with Tolkien's works and his place with modern society. Well, his place in modern society, I hate to break this to you, is he's dead. He's been dead for quite some time. So he cannot evolve forward with modern society because of the fact that he is dead. But his story remains. And it looks like you guys are starting to fuck around, right after Christopher Tolkien dies, one of the greatest sons who's ever lived, one of the greatest great gatekeepers. And by the way, he hated Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. It seems like you are working with Amazon to make it more palatable for yourselves, not for us. The general audience has no problem with this. The only people that have a problem are the academics and the artists. The paying customer, and they will show you, will not be happy with this. But, Amazon is a $1 trillion company. This thing can flop, and it wouldn't affect their bottom line. It might hurt some people's egos and cost some jobs, but it's not going to hurt Amazon. But if they fuck it up, I'll try. Beyond his secondary world, diversity further encompasses Tolkien's readership, and now his text exists within the primary world. Who is reading Tolkien? How is he understood around the globe? How many of these new readers enrich current perspectives on Tolkien? Well, what Tolkien has written, he has written, and he wrote for himself. And as I stated in my videos, he went into it in detail, geography, topography. He figured out the cycles of the moon and the tides. The great Just Some Guy also pointed out that it was a diverse world. It was, but we just saw one story in it. The world outside exists. There are other people in it. They don't intermingle. Just like there wasn't that much intermingling in our far, far ancient past. Every state started out as an ethno-state. Almost every state. Can't say every. Sure, there was people traveling. Sure, there were Moors in England in the far ancient past, but not in large groups. But he was very specific. It was a mythology for England. So was Tolkien woke? That was the dumbest thing I've seen on Twitter in a long time. And that's saying something. I would say you could interpret that he might have been liberal in some sense on some things and certainly not on others of what I know. By the way, I would never self-title as an expert or a scholar on anything. I am a fan. I do my share of work. I try to do as much research as possible on videos. That's why they're insanely slow sometimes, because I'll spend, for the Tolkien video, I spent 2 days watching Tolkien interviews and reading Tolkien interviews. Discussions are listed at the website. Excuse me. They include, oh God. That was a cringe. Discussions as listed on the website include Gondor in transition, a brief introduction to transgender realities in Lord of the Rings, pardoning Saruman. Oh. Pardoning Saruman, the queer in Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. The Losseth indigeneity, identity, and anti-racism. The invisible other, Tolkien's dwarf women, and the feminine lack. Oh, dwarf women were all over the place. They just look like dwarf men. Queer atheists, agnostics, and animists. Oh my. And most enigmatic, something mighty queer. Destabilizing, cis hetero, amatonormity. I can't even say this word. How do I say this word? Amaton normativity. Amaton normativity. Do you mean heteronormity? In the works of Tolkien. Now they're just fucking making up stupid words. So basically, Lord of the Rings is super straight. Is that what you're saying? Lord of the Rings is super straight. Now, some of the elves, probably. But no. Wow. I can't wait for this conference. I'm going to read some of these papers, and they'll probably make for a good laugh. So I think just some guy and I talked about doing a Lord of the Rings live stream. I think it was going to be more of a positive one. We're going to like watch the movie or talk about the books or discuss the Silmarillion. I think he and I and maybe others should do another one covering this whole fucking conference. If he has time. I have to ask him. I'm working this out in my head. Oh my fucking God. Gondor in transition. I'm just thinking Boromir. Are you too? I went right to Boromir. Oh my God. It's fucking, yeah, I see a bunch of clowns there. It's like, this is off the cliff, just ridiculous. I think it was 3 years back, your boy Zach from Diversity in Comics. Change your name back, Zach, to that. got in a little trouble by saying we need a third world war. I completely agree with him at this point. While I have yet to read the papers and know only the titles for reference, some of which are so obscure and obtuse that remain in a state of some confusion, let's for a moment consider pardoning Saruman, the queer... the queer in Tolkien, The Lord of the Rings. In what way is Saruman an incarnate Maya angel sent by the Valar to do good in Middle Earth? Saruman really fails at this. Well, everybody fails at it except for Gandalf. We don't know what happened to Radagast the Brown or the Blue Wizards. Well, they were probably treacherous. Queer? Is he in love with himself? True. With his immense ego, he might very well have been. So he'd be what? Asexual because he's a narcissist? So he masturbates to himself in the mirror? Are we really going there? Is he in love with Orthanc? Perhaps. But there's nothing in the text to support this. Is he in love with Radagast the Brown? No. He considers him a fool. Is he in love with Gandalf the Grey? No. He's jealous of Gandalf and has been from his first arrival in Middle Earth. He is in love with his bred orcs. Wow, that would be twisted. He is in love with Wormtongue? If so, nothing will come of it, for the lecherous Wormtongue has a leering and creepy gaze only for Éowyn. And so I remain baffled by all of this. Nothing about queer Saruman seems to make any sense. Well, I'll tell you. He doesn't really give an answer here. We'll get to him in just a second. It's this incessant need to project one's insecurities on everything in their lives. This is a deeply seated personal issue, and my sympathy and empathy goes out to those of you out there who don't project it on people, who don't try to change the world and warp it, but have genuinely gone through, horrible things. Listen, we're not going to say that our friends in the alphabet community didn't suffer, weren't shunned. They were treated horribly. But that's changing now, and that's good. But there's still the personal issue of it because of the societal stigma from long ago. But eventually, one has to take personal responsibility for one's own feelings. And the world can't fix you. You need to fix yourself. I need to fix myself. For example, not that it's the same, it's just an example. My alcoholism, my perpetuation for being an addict, it sucks. Would I love to go and drink a half a beer with my friends at the pub? Were there days that I would have loved to fucking just spark at the end of the day and know I could go walk away from it for a month? Sure, but I can't. And I've accepted that, and I don't expect the world to bend to me. I don't want everybody to fucking, put out their bongs if I walk by, or stop smoking weed, or I don't want weed to be illegal. I think drugs should be legal. I don't want I don't want prohibition. You understand? I understand that, I am just a part of this world, and I was born with a bad hand on that one. So what? I learned to live with it. Now I'm completely happy. I'm fine. And now I can sit next to my wife. She's having a glass of wine. It's not like I need to grab the wine. It's fine. Because I worked on it. I simply worked on it. The world isn't going to fucking fix everybody. My son understands he's special needs. My son understands that the world is not going to bend to him. My son understands that he's going to have to work twice as hard as the quote unquote normal person to understand things, to get things. And he just does it. He accepts it. I don't expect the world to change for my son. If it's okay to be gay, right? And it's up to that individual to be okay with it, right? It doesn't need to be projected in everything. Not everything needs to be gay. And you know what? Not everything needs to be straight. You can have your an all-gay show. They exist. They're out there. Or they can intermingle. Or we could just not mention it all and worry about story first. And if that certain thing fits into the story, the original story, then so be it. Write it. That's great. All I want is good stories. But one that's already been written, one that's already established, one that Amazon paid billions of dollars for, it's worth billions of dollars because of the fans. The fans liked it the way it fucking was. And that includes gay fans, straight fans, black fans, Asian fans, Latino fans. If you want to change Lord of the Rings, if you think there's something wrong with it, you're no longer a fan. Just accept it. Maybe the Tolkien Society needs to accept that they have grown past Lord of the Rings in their eyes, or it's not to their taste, or their fucking cultish ideology won't let them accept and just accept a story for what it is, a story. But this is part of it, folks. This is part of the erasing of our history. Story by story, show by show, instance of instance, statue here, an edited TV show here, rewriting Tolkien here, completely vandalizing Star Wars over there, completely vandalizing Marvel Comics over here. I mean, it's propaganda now. And I talked about this on FNT. Remember when it was hyperbole? I remember when I was like, I don't know if I want to say this out loud. I might sound like a crazy person. Now, I wish I said it out loud sooner. Now, I think the tide is turning. But let's be real. Like, we let the wolf in the door, and it's going to be very hard to get them out. Because we're trying to convince weak-minded, scared, vapid people. But when it comes to projecting all of this shit on Lord of the Rings that isn't there, that's exactly what it is. I don't, it's a very well-written article so far. It's fine. But basically, it's a bunch of insecure people or a bunch of disingenuous people projecting a bunch of shit into Lord of the Rings that isn't there. I do believe it's one part insecurity, people who don't feel good about being gay, which is sad, but like, work it out. There's a solution out there. There's a lot of very cheap therapy, that's like untreated depression. It's very sad that you suffer from depression. It is. But there's a point in your life where if you know you have it and you're not going out and getting help, then sympathy goes away, because nobody's going to help you. And using your depression to excuse bad behavior, no, that would be like me continuing to go out and drink and go, well, I'm an alcoholic. Well, you know what? No, asshole. Since since I knew I was an alcoholic, me being an asshole was just me being an asshole, because I'm an adult and I can go work on myself. That's what part of this is. The other part is fucking communists wanting to erase our mythology because they want to erase every aspect of Western civilization. That's there too. And I remember if you said that 3 years ago, you would sound like a crazy person. Oh, and to some, I probably still do. But some people really love the Kool-Aid. It tastes good. Kool-Aid tastes good. Convenience, it tastes good. Conformity tastes good. It's easy. I'm fighting racists. I'm fighting white supremacists. I'm a superhero every day on Twitter. Given the language as well as the ideas expressed, even if confusedly so, what is the 2021 Tolkien Society Conference really hoping to uncover? They're not uncovering shit, but you know that. He knows this, by the way. Over at the Federalist, John Daniel Davidson convincingly notes, the only reason to torture Tolkien's work like this is not to understand it more deeply, but to tear it down. So this is why Yellow Flash, I don't know if he's still there. What's up, Yellow Flash? Hail, Yellow Flash. This is why Yellow Flash, this is why Az from Heel vs. Babyface, Ryan from RK Outpost, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, Doomcock, yours truly, Tug. Our thesis, our main thesis for all of our channels is, well, of course, we're reporting and we're entertaining, but it's to call this shit out. It's to warn you that this shit was coming. I even made a video called They're Coming for Lord of the Rings. I made a video called They're Here for Lord of the Rings. And this is why we do it. So I'm glad they're calling it out. We need more people to call it out because they're here to tear it down. That's it. That's all. But it's not, it's tear it down in his eyes, but it's warp it so it fits within the ideology of the Tolkien Society, which has drank a lot of Kool-Aid. And why would modern scholars want to do that? Because everything that Tolkien was and everything he wrote is an affront to modern secular scholars' understanding of the world, reality, and the meaning and purpose of life. One could say the same thing about most of academia. However, there is something rapacious in the paper's titles that just screams seduction of the innocent. The timing of the conference is telling as well. The Tolkien Society waited a full year after Christopher Tolkien's death to announce and arrange Tolkien and diversity. Still, aside from simply being woke and employing outrageous jargon, the Tolkien Society is anticipating a successful Amazon.com series. Well, you know what? We'll get to that in a moment. It's trying to get in front of the series and influence it. No, I think yes, it is. For one, according to the live streams on the OneRing.net, Amazon has not reached out to any fandoms. And I've always said, if you're going to make something, try to make it as true to Tolkien as you can, and don't listen to anybody. I'm not saying you have to listen to me, but definitely do not listen to them. And you might be fine. You know, we have an occasional outlier, and listen, I know it's not perfect and it has moments. I get it. Superman and Lois, which, I mean, I like it, but it looks a lot better surrounded by all the shit that we've gotten lately. It's trying to get in front of the series and influence it. Indeed, and they are. The statement goes as far to claim the Society's own conference is critical. It's critical. It's critical. This, I would guess, is the real reason it wants to so desperately to reinterpret Tolkien. Some of this, of course, is Tolkien's own fault, as he had very consciously and willfully sold the movie rights to his world a long time ago. By so doing, he made a considerable profit, but he also sold out his or the estate's control. They have some control, some, but less now. Just as Peter Jackson rearranged and rewrote huge parts of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, largely with The Lord of the Rings, I don't have a problem with it. Listen, Tom Bombadil wouldn't have worked cinematically. Now, if they were to redo The Lord of the Rings in a TV series and it was done by somebody who actually cares and doesn't want to change or put in their messaging, maybe. But that's not happening anytime soon. Will Amazon.com in its television series? No, I got it. Sorry. Just as Peter Jackson rearranged and rewrote huge parts of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, so too will Amazon.com in its television series. If the rumors are true, there's no necessary rumors, by the way. No, this is actual news. The show will depict a rather sexualized Middle-earth, having been influenced by Game of Thrones. Now, I don't know if elves are going to be fucking or dwarves are going to be fucking, but they did hire an intimacy coordinator. That's a bullshit job, by the way, because of Me Too and Time's Up. And it could just mean people are being naked. And they might be showing like the creation of the elves or whatever. Again, there is innocent nudity in Lord of the Rings with the hobbits running around naked. But no, Jeff Bezos says he wants Game of Thrones. What are you going to tell a trillionaire? Who's going to say no to a trillionaire? If somebody says no, it's just, I'll buy another 5 just like you who will tell me yes. What would Tolkien make of all this? He'd be horrified. Horrified. His son would be horrified. He was, after all, so conservative and so Roman Catholic as to seem reactionary. Born in South Africa to English parents, Tolkien lost his father when he was a small boy, and his mother succumbed to a disease when he was 12. A family friend, Father Francis Morgan, then cared for Tolkien until 1916 when Tolkien married. And it gives some background. Went to Oxford. His first novel, didn't write his first novel, The Hobbit, until 1937. He had been developing his rather massive mythology since 1913. The mythology, the history of Middle-earth, took up all of Tolkien's adult life, as well as the adult life of his youngest son, Christopher. And despite 2 generations of Tolkien's building the mythology, certain Tolkien writings still remain unseen and unpublished. The Silmarillion was not supposed to be published. The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, and the Silmarillion are really just manifestations of the whole mythology. It was a massive undertaking, resulting in a legendarium rivaling the great mythologies of Homer, Virgil, and Dante. Totally agree. That's what he set out to do. It's fucking brilliant. They talk about his Catholicism and like, dude was religious. He was Catholic. The dude was a Catholic. He was woke. And there's a very uncomfortable thing that just has to be brought up. I'll bring it up. Would J.R.R. Tolkien, would he want anything alphabet in his show, in his books, in his stories? The answer is no. Now, to give the man credit, he was of his time. Say he was able to live until now. You know, he lived the decades and through the decades, and he evolved. Maybe he would have changed his mind. I don't know. He died in 1972. But if you're going to ask me, would he have wanted it in there? I would say the answer is probably no. You know, and just, you know what? We got to stop judging people who are of their time. They were just of their time. We have advanced since then. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. That's just life. You're not always going to get the answer you want to get. You know what? Don't ask questions if you don't want to know the answers. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy the story. It doesn't mean they can't make the story. And you know what? Again, how much sex was in the Lord of the Ring trilogy? They worked in one relationship. Well, kind of 2 at the end. But it was like, it was a look. It was holding hands. There was a couple of scenes. That's all you need to do in the show. See, Amazon bought this at the wrong time. But the ego fucking maniacs in Hollywood absolutely think, oh, we can improve Tolkien. That's what they think. They think they can improve Tolkien. I'm telling you, these people have massive fucking egos. Jennifer Salk, and she straight up admitted, we overbid, or we bid so high for Lord of the Rings just because the market was crazy. People were overbidding for everything because Hollywood's irresponsible and stupid. And when they start burning because they overbid for stuff and the COOF consequences kick in, which is going to take a couple of years, folks, because right now they're living off of our fucking money. I'm not going to have any fucking sympathy at all. Jennifer Salk's job, like, if this series doesn't do well, it's her job. And the Lord of the Rings can't be just a mild hit or an average show. It's got to be the most watched thing on the planet. It simply has to be the best show, the best streaming show. If it's not, it's a failure. It's a fucking failure. I'm sure, yeah, you want to give it time. I would, say 2 seasons, sure. But we'll know pretty quick. My guess is there will be some alphabet in it, and it will be the intersectional feminist Lord of the Rings. And they'll do a lot of the shit that the MCU is doing right now. And we're going to talk about that last episode of Loki, which was a great example of how intersectional feminism and hiring inexperienced writers could derail your already bad show. All right, so like I said, he was religious. We'll skip past that. I recommend read the article. They do talk about in the 1960s, Tolkien tried to write a sequel to The Lord of the Rings called The New Shadow, setting the story 100 years after The War of the Ring. He stopped it rather quickly, though, as it became too depressing. Since we are dealing with men, it is inevitable that we should be concerned with the most regrettable feature of their nature, their quick satiety with good, so that the people of Gondor in times of peace, justice, and prosperity would become discontented and restless. While the dynast descended from Aragorn would become just kings and governors like Denethor or worse, I found that even so early there was an outcrop of revolutionary plots, but a center of secret satanistic religion, while Gondorian boys were playing at being orcs and going around doing damage. And he decided not to do it. Thank God. While I don't fully know or understand the motives of the Tolkien Society and the intent of its annual conference, it seems to me that in our gloriously decadent 21st century society, and it really is, cycles repeat. The Roaring 20s, for the time, pretty decadent. The author, I don't know if we have a repeat of the 30s. The authors at the conference will be playing orc, proving yet again Tolkien's own convictions about the long defeat. Yes, he talks about the long defeat. Now, earlier I passed about it. It's very sad. But he basically said, as a Catholic, I know that overall it's an absolute losing battle. It's an absolute losing battle being a practicing Catholic, showing restraint, having honor, ethics, just trying to be a good person, trying to be honest. Because you're not playing on a level playing field. Not everybody's going to play like that, and not everybody believes in everything about the Catholicism, and I don't agree with everything about Catholicism. I'm one of those agnostics who enjoys the hell out of Lord of the Rings. That's right. But yeah, it's not easy. When you're surrounded by people who just don't give a shit if they lie and don't care about the consequences, just get whatever they can for themselves and everybody else can fuck off. Yeah, it's tough to be around that. So at least So what he said, Tolkien's own convictions about the long defeat, and that's what I was talking about. Still, with all of their sexual obsessions, the participants of the Tolkien Society conference might very well prove risk, Jeffries and Greer wrote. So at least there's some good to come out of the conference. Indeed, as we consider the enduring value of Tolkien's work, we might wonder what else both his critics and his misinterpreters are wrong about. Okay, that was a long one, but I wanted to go over that. Lord of the Rings has been a hot conversation, and again, I'm going to go back to why we all make videos is to warn people about this shit, because you know what? We know. The fans know. The paying customers know long before Jeff Bezos knows, or Jennifer Salk, or fucking Jon Favreau, or Kathleen Kennedy, or any of them. We know what we like before they do. We know what we don't like before they do. And if we speak up, things might change. You know what? When things don't change is when you don't say anything. When you don't say anything, nothing's going to change. And, hopefully, it's tough to speak up sometimes. And that's why it's great that we have so many channels around here. And listen, and I've said it before, the Fandom Menace is just a hashtag. It's not anything you can join, quit, be canceled from, be get cut from. If you can type it, you can use it. It's not that important. It's just a hashtag. What's important is the individual channels preaching common sense, trying to point this out, and breaking the narrative, cutting through the bullshit every fucking day. And we do that because we've seen this shit happen before. And so have you. And we all know that we're being lied to constantly by the fucking Access media. So, you know what? There'll be a lot of people out there, there's a lot of channels out there to choose from. We don't necessarily know each other. We don't necessarily like each other. We don't have to. It doesn't matter because the message matters. And it's not about right or about being wrong. I said this a lot in 2019. It's not about being right or being wrong. It's about being effective. And I do think things are going to turn around, but it might be too late. I think overall, I'm talking overall, as far as franchises go, I've swallowed the black pill on Star Wars. Don't think it's turning around ever. I'll believe it when I see it. And even if certain parties, if Kathleen, so according to Variety from 3 years ago, Kathleen Kennedy's contract ends at the end of the year. It doesn't end in September and October. I was working on a video, and it's been a long time since I read that article, but her contract ends at the end of 2021, meaning December 31st. Now, if she goes before that, great, fucking awesome. But it's still a giant uphill battle. And like I said before, it's going to be much, much worse before it gets better. And the reason being is because we're watching all the stuff made 2 years ago, for the most part. All the stuff that was on hold from COOF. So this is all 2019 pre-election shit that we're seeing. And Hollywood and Marvel are going to have a down year. They're going to have a down year. And they could have had a less down year if they had actually made entertainment people want. That's why I guess, maybe Godzilla versus King Kong is going to be was an outlier because it was pretty successful. I know a lot of people think Dune is going to be successful. That's a tough sell, man. I think it's a tough sell. I think sci-fi fans are going to go, and I think normies are going to go, it looks so drab. All right, got to get to your questions in the next article. And yeah, I know that one was long, so thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. If you got any questions about Lord of the Rings, shoot them at me. And I'm probably going to make a video on that. Would you guys like that? I think I would like that. I have been working on something, but it's something you're not going to see for a while. So I do apologize for not putting up any content lately. But I have been working on something. There we go. And thanks, everyone, for being here. Thanks to the Modrotics. Once again, if you haven't heard, the Inquisition is no more. It is canceled because I need my weekends free because of my move. I wanted to wait and discuss things with Doomcock in a sit-down conversation before that happened and talk about the Exozone. The Exozone is going to come back weekly. So that's the compromise there. We're gonna do that. Plus, I kind of wanted to do that show more. I did. I wanted to do that show more. When it's going to be on Thursdays, and it starts this Thursday, just to let you guys know. And also to repeat when it comes to, yes, I am banned on Twitter for 3 more days. It's been fucking great. As a matter of fact, the only time I went on Twitter in the last 48 hours was to DM. I can DM people, but I can't retweet. I can't put up pictures or like anything. And that sucked on Friday Night Tights. Thanks, everyone, for sending. When I get back, I'll retweet all that shit. But I will probably eventually move my interaction over to Instagram. By the way, Az is banned forever. If you guys don't know, a quick recap. If you didn't see, here, I probably have to do a visual aid on this one. There's a thing called the Winter She-Hulk. All right, the Winter She-Hulk. And I guess this is important to talk about. Let's talk about why we got banned real quick, and then I'll get to your questions, okay? That looks like a dude. That looks terrible. This is a decent artist, and it looks terrible. It's a laughable joke. It's a fucking joke. And pointing that out, saying that looks terrible, that looks like a dude. That looks like a dude. It's not pleasant to look at. It's not going to sell. If I had to fucking sell this in my comic shop, I wouldn't. And if my customers asked me for it, I would tell them, no, you don't. You take that money and you flush it down the toilet or set it on fire or wipe your ass with it, or better yet, donate it to charity, but don't give it to Marvel for this fucking shit, because it's shit. It's garbage. It's fucking just as bad as Snowflake and Safe Space. You want to know why? They do this shit because they know it will piss people off. They are writing shit to piss people off. Fuck them. So this goes up on Twitter. And for one, you want to talk about creative bankruptcy. Let me read this shit article. Dun, dun, dun. All right. No, I'm not going to read this shit article. It comes from, I guess, Heroes Reborn and Heroes Return. If you're a lifelong Marvel comic fan, you know what I'm talking about. Have been redone. So they're redoing unsuccessful events. Heroes Reborn was when the Image comic artists needed more money in the late 90s because they had burned through all their fucking money being irresponsible idiots. So they had to come crawling back to Marvel and wrote and did some comics in another universe. And it gave us, as a matter of fact, hang on. It gave us this. Yes. It gave us this class. That is the classic. That is the one memorable thing that came out of Heroes Reborn and Heroes Return was Rob Liefeld's abortion of a Captain America picture, right? So that's the only thing that good came, except for this. Now it gives us this. So they redo an unsuccessful event and then redo another unsuccessful event that leads into a derivative event, World War She-Hulk. Now, World War Hulk was okay. It wasn't that great either. Planet Hulk, that was the shit. Read Planet Hulk by Greg Pak. If you haven't read that, that's absolutely fucking all-time great. But then it led into World War Hulk, which was a giant disappointment, except Ghost Rider did fight Hulk, and I thought that was fucking cool. So now we got World War She-Hulk. And because they have to tie it into fucking Black Widow, because she went to the Red Room. You know what? A bunch of women in a room that's called the Red Room. Yeah, you know what? Your imaginations can take you there. And she turns into the period monster. She's the period monster. It's a fucking period monster. She changed her hair to blonde now, and she looks like a dude. And I know, like, Anna and people like I'm going to fix this. They do the fix drawing. All Anna has to do is fix this little thing, this little dent right here. Because right now it just looks like a moob, but you can make it look like a peck if you just raise this line. So if Anna just raised the line right there, she could do one of her Anna fixes. That's Star Wars girl Anna. There's a big package right there that looks like the penis is tucked under, whatever. So this was posted on Twitter, and it says Winter Hulk is coming, and Az put All Men Must Die and was banned for life. Does Az have priors? Yes. Do I have priors? Yes. Have I said worse in the last month? Yes. Has Az said Az said worse that day? And it doesn't have a problem. So it's a Game of Thrones quote. Valar Morghulis. Valar Dohaeris. Which is all men must serve. It's Pravasi. Little Arya, little cute Arya, before she turned into a Mary Sue, was saying it all the time. So did Daenerys. So did Missandei. So I was, somebody asked me what Az said. He's like, what did he say to get banned? And I put All Men Must Die, and I got suspended for 7 days. Eric July was suspended for something else. Problem Being was suspended. Stone Loki was suspended. Jeremy threw it out there, and he didn't get suspended, but then everybody who retweeted him, or some people, did get arbitrarily suspended. And then Jeremy pointed out on his live stream on Saturday that there is a bunch of accounts Un momento, por favor. There's a bunch of accounts. It helps if I spell it right, too. There we go. Oh, that's strange. There we go. There's a bunch of accounts called All Men Must Die. I am Jack's fucking hypocrisy. So, whatever. I got suspended for a day. Az gets banned. At the time, didn't think much of it. Now I'm thinking a lot of it. Now, Twitter doesn't just know every tweet. They have to be made aware of their tweets. They have to be flagged and reported. Who's reporting us? I imagine our detractors, whom are many, come from all kinds of places, other content creators. Could be a possibility. Is it Amazon? Is it Marvel? Is it Disney? Is it CBS? Is it the BBC? I don't know. We've pissed off a lot of people. And it's not just us. See, what gives us the power to piss off these giant corporations, and listen, yeah, I enjoy it. I do. Is us, is you guys. We are just the conduit. You are the true power, right? When they see live streams, and I've been told this. So this is why when my channel had 20,000 subscribers, I had like a showrunner of a show contact me because I was doing live reviews of his show, and I was giving positive reviews because I liked the show. I liked the Orville. And they saw real-time reaction to their show. And they're like, oh my God, we're paying all this money on marketing, but we got this guy in a room who likes our show and is giving a review. And the people in his chat are loving it, you know. And then, of course, it's the opposite for Star Trek Discovery, but that's just the way it goes, folks. Yeah, that's the true power. So do they want to silence us? Yes. Who are they? Have no idea. Well, I don't know who had the power to get Az banned. Do I imagine people are flagging our content and reporting it all the time? Yes. But it depends on how many people do it at a certain time. This much is known. This is known. To your questions. Oh my God. Jesus. Jesus Christi. I'm sorry I didn't get to this sooner. I get locked in on my reading. We've got a $500 super chat from Daniel. Jesus. Daniel. $500. Daniel is a longtime supporter of this channel and many others. And a good dude. Daniel, that is incredibly generous. Thank you. I appreciate it. Tolkien's life's work is so far above and beyond these people that they can only glimpse the mere shadow that he casts. Lord of the Rings is eternal, and its power over us is what they lust after. As if they could swap. If they could swap words on his page and turn that he made good instead of evil. So I'll say that again because I fucked it up. As if they could swap words on his pages and turn what he made good instead of evil. Gatekeeping is a noble cause. Carry on, Gary, my friend. You are the true Dunedain. Oh, wow. Thank you. I've got my boy right here. Right here. There's Aragorn up there. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for the kind words and the very generous super chat. And yeah, I'm going to try to gate. And please, you guys, please join. Let's gatekeep the fuck out of Tolkien. You know, it's such a bad word. And for the most part, you know, I wasn't the biggest fan of it either. But when it comes to simply, we gatekeepers, we don't want to change anything. No. I would look at it more as preserver. Well, what can we do? I don't know, but we have to try because this is the last battleground. They have torn through the other franchises with very little hope. I would argue Star Trek is the one that I think in 10 years, if somebody good takes a crack at it, could come back. Doctor Who is broken forever. You know, sure, there could have been a female doctor. We could have just done 3 years of a female doctor and moved on. And I wouldn't have loved it, but we could have moved on and say, we did it. Can we just go back now? But no, they had to break the whole fucking show to fit in the female doctor. You want to know why? Because it didn't fit. It didn't fucking fit. Just like everyone said. You want to talk about getting fucking heat. I got heat. Bulls Trek got heat. The Doctor Who fandom has turned into this. Well, it's nothing now. It's decimated. But fuck. Did you hear it? And so many people were afraid to say, I don't want the Doctor to be a woman. I don't. They were afraid to say it because they might look bad. It's a fictional character. It's one fictional character. Your views, my views on Doctor Who or Lord of the Rings might not necessarily reflect my entire views on life because I'm not fucking 6 years old. Doctor's a dude. As far as Ollie Alexander, we'll get that in just a second. The culture war is scary, but thankfully every day content creators like you remind me that we are not alone, says Darth Gorback for 2222. Thank you. No, you're not alone. And it gets a bit much, you know? It does. It does. But this is a long one, folks. This is going to be a long, 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 long battle with a lot of defeats. But we're being effective. I think we were really effective in 2019, and unfortunately, things got there were some losses, and The Mandalorian changed everything. It did. Now, there's no Mandalorian for 2 years, or for another year now, another year and some change. They haven't even started filming yet. We don't know what kind of a show it's going to be. We don't know if Baby Yoda's coming back. We don't know if it's going to be a Bo-Katan show. We don't know if, Pedro is going to come back. We don't know. Very interesting what happens there. The one thing we do know, we're getting Andor. We're getting a Juan Solo movie. And we're going to get an Obi-Wan show where he's going to be led around by some woman. Intersection, kind of like Loki is right now. And then we're going to get a Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, nothing with Agent May from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. leading around Boba Fett. Nothing I'm going to watch or review or care about. Anti-Derivative Jill for $10. The Exozone is not my thing. I am more of an Inquisition fan, but I am absolutely ecstatic that y'all are back. I'll open up my mind a bit to let some of those aliens in just to hear you two together on Thursday. Oh, cool. Well, it's not always about aliens either. It's not always about aliens. I'm going to be talking about, I've been watching some Randall Carlson, lots of Randall Carlson. There's some very grounded but cool stuff that guy goes over. You want to check out the Joe Rogan, Randall Carlson interviews. They're freaking great. And thank you, Anti-Derivative Jill. Space Dinosaur for $10. Fantastic intro from classic TVs. How Alien Nation. Oh, you got an intro there? I will check it out. I got to make sure there isn't music in that. This is on the donation side, by the way. Morality 124 12 2112. I received some leak footage from The Matrix 4. A very shocking change in direction. Also, keep up the good work. It's another YouTube video. I don't know if I can hang on. It's probably funny. I imagine that. Let's see. It's Morpheus getting a blowjob. I can't show that. Hail Gary and hail chat. Thanks for keeping me company at work. You're welcome. Bill Bonius bag of donuts. Thank you for the $1. Phoenix Tangent for $5.99. I'm just here to support. Nothing profound from me today. Phoenix Tangent, $5.99. Just being here is profound. We appreciate it. And thank you for the $5.99. Sandy Q for $20. I got here late begging your forgiveness. What? Oh, okay. That was I was going to go like, that must be from another show. And it is. So there we go. We got the donors there. And there we go. Chad Curtis, thank you for the $9.99. And to answer, there was a super chat in here about the Inquisition. I answered that. I will reset that again in just a sec. Felipe Abrigo for 500 Chilean pesos. Hi, Commodore Beekler. How ironic. Bezos may be the wealthiest guy on the planet, but he is still a loser. So worried about woke while Musk is working and kicking his ass. Yeah, Elon Musk, I wish he was in charge of Lord of the Rings. I do. Elon Musk is the only good CEO. He's the only good CEO. Bezos he's not right. That guy's a little off. He's a little off. And but he's going to space. He retired and he and his brother are going to go to space. Good. I just don't know who's in charge of his company. All I know is his ex-wife could change the course of elections with how much money she has. See, that's concerning. I am very I'm a, moderate anarchist, slightly libertarian, except the libertarian leadership is fucking insane. So I don't like a lot of rules. Basically, don't tell me what to do and I won't tell you what to do. And we're good. We're good. I don't like a lot of rules. But when people have like $1 trillion and they could just buy a fucking country, there has to be a solution to that. There's a VTuber being canceled by HoloLive due to China bullying named Kairu. I don't even know what I'm saying here. Kairu Coco. There's a fan appealed to stop it on a channel, just HoloLive fan. Okay, I don't know. I know what a VTuber is. I do. And they're being canceled due to China bullying. Okay. Well, fuck that. So if there's a fan appeal to stop it. Okay, good. Not applicable. Is there like a website we can go to? Thank you for the super chat. Not applicable. Swinging Cod for $10. Heroes Reborn gave us something else. The HR Earth was brought to 616 as the new counter Earth during the return. Fembucky stayed and started the Young Allies, who debuted with the YA America Chavez. Yes, it basically opened the door for the Ultimate Universe, the idea of the Ultimate Universe. But it was also a fucking failure. And it was before I had a shop and I collected it, Swinging Cod, because I was a Captain America, an Avengers, and a Spider-Man collector. And actually, Jim Lee's Fantastic Four was pretty good. I did like it. It was pretty fucking good. Jim Lee's Fantastic Four. But otherwise, it was meh. But that was late 90s, and we were going through our second wave feminism. Girls kick ass. I didn't mind that feminism. It was just like girl bands, but they still wanted to be women. You had to suffer through like Lilith Fair. Like I never went to a Lilith Fair. I'd rather shoot myself than go to a Lilith Fair. But yeah, there was that going on. I miss when bad Liefeld art was the thing that angered people the most about comics. Said Big Viz 497 for $5. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Chris Celios for $50. Thank you very much. I live in New York City today, and SJW. He says, I live in New York City today, and SJW gay comic shop owner said, I don't like comics from the big two. Stopped in 2015. Too many boring books that interconnect. Gary, if the alleged correct demographic won't buy comics either, who are they catering to? Disney themselves. Chris, you're absolutely right. And that does need to be brought up all the time. Our friends in the alphabet community, for the vast majority, hate this shit. They just want good stories because you know what? Where you put your thing isn't your entire life. It's an aspect of it. Sure. But it's not your entire life. And it has nothing to do with sitting in a bus and reading a comic book. Aaron Williams, thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Thanks for the donation. Kent Barnes for $25. Been a while since I have been able to engage in support. Oh, well, it's okay. With regard to gatekeeping on Tolkien, you have my sword, my bow, and my axe. And I still got those Lord of the Rings figures for you. Oh, Thank you. When your move is complete, not all who wander is lost. Kent, thank you for reaching out. I will reach out to you. As a matter of fact, hang on. I've been looking for you, so I will email you today. Thank you, Kent. I appreciate it. Not all who wander are lost. Okay, we'll get back to your questions in just a moment. Briefly, we're going to briefly go over Ollie Alexander. Oh my God, these ads. Okay. It's a Sin star. Ollie Alexander exterminates. Doctor Who reports in playful statement. Ollie Alexander, the star of Channel 4 HBO Max It's a Sin and Years frontman, has denied reports that he is close to being unveiled as the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker's replacement on Doctor Who. In its report, The Sun said he is thrashing out final details with the BBC bosses and will be the first gay actor to play the Time Lord, who first landed on British TV series in 1963, but Alexander's rep said in the story just isn't true. Even though Ollie often contacted by Cyberman, I'm afraid I have to exterminate this speculation. As nice as it would just be interested in the story, regenerate, it just isn't true. As odd as it might sound, Ollie is focused on his music for the time being. Yeah. It's bullshit. Always was bullshit. But I wanted to bring this to light because, quite frankly, I'm going to ask you guys, who goes first? Kathleen Kennedy or Jodie Whittaker? Because I don't fucking know. You tell me. Is it going to be the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker? Is she going to be gone? Or is Kathleen Kennedy going to be gone? And don't throw in Wins a Winner. It's never coming out. And yes, my Picard review will. But Jodie Whittaker or Kathleen Kennedy? Which one? Who's going first? When the state of your franchise is so fucking dire, it is just dire, all you have left is rumors and speculation. That's all you have left, because you don't have anything left to put on the fucking screen. Now, I understand and respect, and I'm completely okay with, not that you need me to be okay, just saying that. If you're out there and you're enjoying Star Wars and you watch Star Wars Theory and check out The Bad Batch and you like it, great. Great. It's not enough for me. That's not Star Wars for me. It's not even close. Clone Wars was something that passed the time, but it's not like the main Star Wars. The main Star Wars is gone. The next movie, which is what's really going to drive this franchise, is Rogue Squadron, which is directed by the woman who had Wonder Woman rape a guy, Patty Jenkins, and it's written by somebody who wrote Dora the Explorer. That's your next Star Wars movie. I mean, if you thought fucking Solo lost money, this motherfucker is going to lose money. This is like a direct to Disney Plus level fucking uninteresting. That's your next Star Wars movie. So you got The Mandalorian, maybe in a couple years. So yeah. What else do you have? You've got rumors and speculation. With Doctor Who, you got rumors and speculation. Now they're putting the 13th season in the can. The only thing I know, I have told you guys, and I'll tell you again, and this is This is all based on somebody I've talked to. And quite frankly, one part of the rumor may have been right, and it looks like one part of the rumor is wrong. Because I heard that Jody and Chibnall were gone after Jody's run, which was supposed to be the 13th season. Now, the one mirror rumor I can believe is that there's going to be 2 specials and they're going to drag it out to the 60th anniversary. That's the one I can believe because that's what I heard. I heard they were commissioned for an entire season, but they didn't have time to shoot it because of the coof, but they still had the extra 2 episodes. I don't know for sure, and I don't really care. I think less Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who was better for the entire universe. But it doesn't matter. If Chibnall stays, fucking Tennant could come back and it wouldn't fucking matter. It would still largely be shit. Chibnall wrote for Tennant and Matt Smith, and they weren't very good episodes. But thankfully, he had Russell T. Davies, and Stephen Moffat was in the background there too, making sure, it was something watchable. And, David Tennant's brilliant, of course, obviously. But what do we got? What do you think they're going to do? I heard that they're absolutely doubling down on the Timeless Children. And it's not going to be, they're not going to forget it. They're not going to erase it. I want you to keep in mind, it would be blasphemy to the cult. The whole premise sounds ridiculous. The Disney trilogy is ridiculous. But remember, if we erase the Disney trilogy, or we erase Doctor Who canon, or we erase Michael Burnham, that is heresy. That is blasphemy against the cult. You'll be erasing the little black girl who was originally I can't even call her a Time Lord. She's a portal lord. She's a portal child, whatever she was, the portal leavings. Who was appropriated by the stunning and brave Tecteun to destroy one of the greatest franchises ever. Yeah, there ain't no fixing that, dude. There ain't no. You can absolutely fucking erase it, sure. Maybe they'll do it someday, but they ain't doing it today. You think the BBC is going to do that? You're crazy. You're crazy. Yeah, sure. Eventually, these companies need to make money here in the States, and I think that will become a factor. Possibly, as things become more fragmented. But yeah, the double down is coming. The double down is coming. And the one thing they had going for them, guys, the one thing that gave them a ratings boost, they canceled. No John Barrowman. No more Captain Jack returns. Those are done. And you know what? We won't even get Captain Jack coming back in the 60th anniversary to meet the 11th Doctor for the first time, get back together with David Tennant. It's a bummer. Oh, yeah, and Jodie Whittaker, the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, will be in the 60th anniversary. Do you want to see it? So that's not anything I'm looking forward to at all. Yeah, the last thing I heard was canceling the show was on the table. It's not something they were keen to do. But if you want to, I got to try to make sure I don't dox this guy. Hang on. Somebody sent me a picture of Doctor Who toys. Called them peg warmers. There you go. Is that that's 3 pounds, right? Yeah, 3 pounds. 3 pounds and there's fucking boxes of them. I mean, okay. I may or may not have known these were coming out. And they took a bath on these things. They took a giant bath. And they were forced to make them. They knew they wouldn't sell. Get woke, go broke. Now, maybe if you had a Yaz playset, if a Yaz playset would be Yaz and a chair and a table. That's basically all Yaz does. Do you know she's a cop who never goes to work? And maybe Ryan should have come with a basketball because all black people play basketball. And then there's a Jadoon, which is just a repaint. It's just a repaint. And by the way, all of these figures were old. I mean, that's the Martha. I believe that's the Martha Jones body or torso. Yeah, this is just all redone, repainted shit. And they still took a giant bath on it because get woke, go broke. Get woke, go broke. Get woke, go broke. But editorially, they're fine. Doctor Who's dead, folks. Doctor Who is dead. Let's get to your questions here. Loki supposedly is not tracking very well. Is anybody really surprised? Is anybody really surprised? Sorry, I'm pulling some audio up that I think you want to hear. Got this from Data Racer, by the way. Hail Data Racer 117.
There has become a thing. There has become a thing that's gone on. It seems like in this, especially this last year, where what's the word I'm looking? Ideology is more important than art.
Way more, certainly to the awards.
Yeah. And it's just, it's like, ideology trumps art. Ideology trumps individual effort. Ideology trumps good. Ideology trumps entertaining.
There's two kinds of movies, virtue signalers and superhero movies.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Except when you get both. When you get virtue signaling superhero movies. And that's what we're getting from the MCU. That's why I give the MCU a D+. I'm really proud of that fucking title, by the way. We're starting to see a pattern here with the with D+. These shows are about nothing. They have no impact. WandaVision was about a broken vibrator and a girl getting a new costume. Falcon and Winter Soldier was just to introduce racism into the MCU, and then Sam eventually picked up the shield. And what's going to happen in Loki? We're going to find out Loki, this little variant, just dies. And it was there to introduce the much more stunning, the much more brave female Loki, Sylvie, who is not the Enchantress. She is Loki. She has an origin as a Loki, as a girl version of Loki. And the entire episode last week existed just so Loki could say he was bi, according to one of the showrunners. And of course, they hired Basha K. Ali, who I did a good long search, about an hour of Googling and going over, looking for her stand-up comedy. And I couldn't find it. It doesn't exist. She's called a stand-up comic, but there is no stand-up comedy. Now, she does podcasts, right? And I listened to a couple of those. And after I wanted to stick a pencil in both of my ears and just make the sound stop, I decided she's not very funny either. Look for that in a video soon. But what Quentin Tarantino said there is spot on. It's fucking spot on. And it's something we have been saying for 3 fucking years. So thank you for finally picking up what we have been putting down, Mr. Quentin Tarantino. And yes, I still respect him. He's one of the last great directors. And you didn't say anything 4 years ago when we needed you to. So you need to keep saying it. Bill Maher, you need to keep saying it. We need more people saying this shit out loud and making it okay. And the only way Hollywood is going to feel comfortable is if we keep mocking it, keep calling it out every time it happens. But it's got to be legit, too. It's that fine line we walk. It's that fine line we walk. I understand people want hope. People want to be given hope. Well, all I'll tell you is there is a victory out there. We could win, but it's capturing hearts and minds. I think we've captured minds. I think we have a little trouble in the heart department. Carrie Smith put it best, is you're trying to deal with emotional creatures, right, who are just raw, unadulterated emotion, get their feelings hurt very easily, very fragile egos. That's tough to deal with. It's very insanely hard to deal with. And for the most part, nobody wants to deal with that shit. Nobody wants the fucking trouble of if they say or do the wrong thing, somebody's going to go screeching. And they're just like, but we have to try. Hearts and minds. The emotional connection. We'll get Carrie Smith back on Friday Night Tights to talk about that because she's smart. She is a former SJW. She broke away from the cult. Give her a follow on Twitter. For $50 says Texas, if you're moving here, welcomes you. Welcomes you. By the way, Texas, if you're moving here, welcomes you. Thank you, Gary Jensen, for $50. And yes, I'm not changing my mind like Ryan Kinnell, my son. Because Florida, you got a great governor. You got America's best governor right now. And I have some good friends who live in Florida, and I love the state of Florida. I do not want to live there. It's below sea level. It's too flat. It's too far east. No offense. I'm a West Coast guy. Texas is as far west as I'm going. Period. Period. But thank you. John Wayne drinks SJW tears. Says, howdy, Gary. Doomcock made a statement yesterday saying that as far as he knows, everything was settled. And if he is more than willing to resume the Inquisition with you, the definitive statement would be greatly appreciated. And I made one. Here's the deal. I don't play internet theater. Period. There were, as far as a definitive statement as it concerns another channel, or more importantly, my channel, I need assurances. There's assurances I need, commitment, time, date, a lot of things to talk about that I'm not just going to DM. And Doomcock and I had to have a talk. We had to have a talk, and I've been trying to talk for a couple weeks. And we talked today, and look, things got worked out. You see how that fucking works? It's like magic. So, as far as the reason I didn't make a definitive statement, John Wayne drinks SJW tears, is I didn't have one to make. I couldn't make one. I could sit there and pontificate all day on Twitter, but I can't because I'm banned. And I don't do that because I'm 51. Thank you for the super chat, but the definitive statement has been made. The Inquisition is no more. But we have Exozone on Thursday, and I think it's a good change of pace. to mix it up a little bit. Plus, it's a subject I adore and I've been wanting to talk about forever. And just keep in mind that we all, okay, the Inquisition was one show on my channel. I do a lot of shows. I have a lot of collaborations. I have a lot of things going on, and I appreciate everybody's support, and I appreciate all the enthusiasm for the Inquisition. But the Exozones requested more, like 1,000 to 1. It's requested more, at least on my side of things. And I needed my weekends free. So there we go. And just as many people have asked about the Nerdrotic Nooner. Just so you know, I do my best. I'm just a guy. Finn Sane for £5. Good evening from Finland, Nerdrotic. It's 9 p.m. for me, so I get to enjoy Nerdrotic Eveninger. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue the same way. Well, that's why, yeah. Well, we all know what a nooner is, but you can have a nooner whenever you want. You can have a nooner whenever you want. A nooner to brighten my day. Hell yeah. Any chance of you and Mrs. Nerdrotic coming to Wales Comic-Con, either of you, next year, November 20th and 21st? Yeah, we were supposed to go last year, and the Coof canceled it. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to get the poke at that point. I'm putting the poke off as long as I can. Thank you for the $4.99. But yeah, I would love to go to the Wales Comic-Con for sure. San Diego. It's going to be so weird. The San Diego Comic-Con's in November. In November. That almost doesn't feel right. Robbie Suits for $9.99. Hail, Gary. For Theolingus. Thank you for the Lord of the Rings coverage and defense of J.R.R. Tolkien, the master. I, too, just moved from my totalitarian home state to a better state. Prayers and best of luck. Thank you, Robbie Suits, and good luck to you. Good luck to you. I hit the camera. If you want help unloading, we're there. Oh, thanks. Not applicable for $2. I appreciate that. Kit Kat, thank you for the 50 pounds. Nothing to say, but thank you for the 50 pounds. I appreciate it. Raymond Blackledge for $49.99. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Nothing to say. You can ask a question. That'd be fine. Yes. Exozone merch. Well, that's a good question. That's another thing Doomcock and I need to talk about is merchandise. That's the kind of thing I can't talk about. There's certain things I can't talk about. And the reason I can't talk about it is anonymity. I am here. You see my face. You got my first name. You got my last name. Now, I am not going about the Tim Pool, you guys. All right. Anonymity is important. It's extremely important for the internet. I question whether it was a very wise move to go out with my full name and my face, but you can't unmake the soup. That's fine. But there are reasons people like Yellow Flash and Tug are anonymous, and it's to protect their job and to protect their family from fucking crazy people, because there are. My wife got a bad Yelp review on her business because somebody didn't like my review of Captain Marvel. That's the kind of shit that you have to deal with, which is fine. It's part of the gig, but it's better not to deal with it if you don't have to, right? So anonymity is important, as long as that's very, very clear to everybody. But those of us who do have our name, we're putting ourselves out there. We're easier to find and we're easier to pin down, right? And that's just a fact. That's just a fact. So we got to make goddamn sure we can back up what we say. We can back up what we say. But when it comes to doing that kind of business, splitting things, getting into business, especially when like this started out as a hobby, and when Doomcock and I started streaming, we were just like basically hobbyists at this, right? And I don't want to get too business-like. I want to keep it very fast and loose for the most part. But yes, I think we can do some exosome merch. I kind of did it. I mean, I didn't put the term exosome because Doomcock came up with that. So I don't want to use it without getting his explicit permission. But I have a Nerdrotic beanie with an alien head, which is kind of exozone-y. So, but yeah, I'll talk to him about it. And once we discuss that, amongst other things, I will let you know and make an announcement. Why do SJWs not attack Al-Qaeda, who enslave women and slavery from kids to adults? Michael Strelitz for £5 because they don't. Well, SJWs individually are insecure and they only hate common sense. They want to be taken care of. They want to be socialist. They want to be communist. They want to be able to bitch on Twitter all day and get paid for it. That's what an SJW wants. And they are convinced because they lack meaning in life, because they were told too much by their parents that they could do anything they want. God, if I fucking hear that again, don't tell your kids they can do anything they want, because they can't. Your kids can't fly. Your kid's probably not gonna, be a fucking basketball star or football star or movie star or pop singer. Don't tell your kid they can do whatever they want. If you can dream it, you can be it. No. You're limited by gravity, a lot of things, your mind, physics. No. And don't be your kid's buddy. But now we got too much of either daycare kids. That's probably most of it, is daycare kids. Not being raised by at least one parent because both parents are out working, and that's out of necessity. And I'm not saying people are evil because they did that. That's just what happened, right? And now we have a whole generation, which was spawned from my generation, out there of fucking entitled little bitches who think they can call themselves the Star Trek communist and take selfies, and when the government is overthrown, he'll still be able to call himself the Star Trek communist and take selfies and still have Star Trek in a communist regime. He's a fucking idiot. These people are not smart. They don't understand to overthrow the current government would take a violent revolution that would destroy a lot of our infrastructure that won't be rebuilt for a long, long fucking time. And any system you wish to overthrow will only be enjoyed or revolted against in the next 200 to 300 years after you're long dead. You fucking moron. For 50 Swedish krona. Thank you. Under the mountain, a young gay dwarf's struggle with his desires to color his hair blue and gasp, shave his beard. Joachim Stark for 50 Swedish krona. I'm sure that fanfic has already been written. Joachim. I mean, it really has. And what we're getting is fan fiction, by the way. The Leslie Headland stuff that I went over last week. Oh my Godsies, my favorite Star Wars is the kind that you make your own from the RPG games. That chick is so full of shit. Disney has to pull that show, because if they don't, it's gonna I'll be able to put an extra wing on my house. Jeremy can buy 5 more pairs of shitty ripped jeans. Ryan Kinnell can maybe no, I didn't want to go there for my boy. I'm gonna hold back. Never mind. That was kind of mean. I'm not gonna do it. Jeremy from the Quartering can buy another shed. Yeah, that's gonna be fucking crazy if that fucking series comes out. A female-centric Star Wars it's a mystery about secrets and emerging dark side powers. And who would be better for a series like that than former Harvey Weinstein assistant Leslie Headland? I'm sure she knows a lot about secrets and fucking rising dark powers. Because, I'm sure she hears the screams of all the women that she led allegedly up to her former master, Harvey Weinstein. Served up to him. Served him. There's no way she didn't know anything. Given of Tolkien, he was a man who understood real suffering and being orphaned, poverty, and fighting World War I. He created his fictional world to cope. Meredith G for $5. Absolutely. Absolutely. He knew strife that none of us understand, and that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem. There's a lot of very comfortable people there who have time to sit there and argue about I'm gonna change my identity every day, and here's a fucking bracelet to prove it that you got to keep track of. Oh, no. Nature is not going to put up with this very long. The universe is not going to put up with this very long. Something's going to happen, and it's not going to be good. I thought it might have been the Koof, but the Koof made it worse. Made it worse. Yeah, we went all Battlestar Galactica. We didn't unite. Well, probably because it wasn't a worldwide threat, like the Cylons were. Demogene. What's up, Demogene? $5. It says OG punk rockers and hip hop head used to fight the power. Now some are just bending the knee. Shake my head, Dark Council. By the way, fuck yeah. And what he said there, see, hip hop kind of picked up for punk rock. Or they were one of the same thing, parallel. But when punk rock went Green Day, there was hip hop. There was hip hop, and hip hop was just as fucking punk rock as punk rock, maybe more than, I'm not you know me, I'm a hip hop expert, by the way. Absolute. I'm a scholar of hip hop. No, fucking I'm not. Check out the Dark Council, by the way. But now it's a bunch of sellout bitches. Bitch-made sellouts. It will be hard to compare new stories to Tolkien stories, made in his head to distract him from the horrors of the front lines and what might have been the worst war ever. A meat grinder, Super Mastermind, for $10. Thank you very much. A meat grinder. Like, didn't they just invent... I'm going to get the name of the gun wrong, but it's like that Gatling gun, whatever it is. The thing that fires a lot of bullets and it vaporizes people. And you're sitting there with your mate, and you're in the trench, and you're all, let's go get those Germans. And he's all... And there's like shoes. And he was just there. You just shared a can of Spam with him or something. And then he's just pink mist. Yeah. Men had to go through that. Men. I don't know why women would want to go through that. I don't know why women want to go to war. I don't know how much good they can do there. I'm going to be real. Not unless you're a beast, Of course, if we all have mech suits and pretty soon, like, the robots will be fighting, then okay. If you're operating machinery, sure. But fuck. Yeah, that horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. I don't know how anybody comes back right from that. My dad didn't fight. My dad didn't fight in Vietnam. He was a medic. He never talked about it. Never. He gave me this look. My dad could give me a look, like the 1,000-yard stare, make you fucking piss your pants. When I asked him about it, I was just a kid, right? And he gave me the look when I was just a kid to tell me, just don't ask me that again. And I never did. Never did. Cross purpose. Exozone, baby. Hell yeah. Thank you for the 2 Canadian pesos. I appreciate it. Hang on here, folks. Ram Bam, 3,000 for 10 pounds. The sad thing is, even if the Cylons did invade, they would still be thinking, how can I exploit this for my own benefit? That's the state of our species. You're right. You're right. It was about exploitation. It's about maybe I can work with these Cylons. As long as they're not Trump supporters. I know they're machines bent on destroying all organic life forms, but they're not Trump supporters. Fucking crazy. Thank you, Clive. Calculation. Darth Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Loki. Briefly, we went a little long with Lord of the Rings. I'll carry some of the Loki stuff over to tomorrow, but quickly, I was waiting to review. I was going to review the whole season. It's like I wasn't going to do every episode. I'm just going to do a season review. But I felt the need to make a video on the last episode. Not that much happened, but it was a great example of, well, first I need to say, I told you so. I don't usually do that. Give me one. I told you so. I know most of you saw that too, so I'm not saying I came up with it or anything. But I said that Loki would be led around by a much stronger, smarter, self-taught female version of himself. And that's exactly what's happening. And they reversed the gender roles. So Loki is playing the female co-star in his own show, basically. He's showing her immense empathy by saying, you are a magician, and asking her if she's okay. She's always telling him to shut up, go away. He's useless. Like all men, subservient. Even Owen Wilson's job is to be subservient in the dark. All the females hold the position of power, which is fine if it was egalitarian, by the way. So let me preface it like that. If both female Loki and male Loki were kick-ass characters, that'd be great. No problem. No problem at all. But we don't get that from Hollywood anymore. We get reversed roles. We get men being diminished. The male character is diminished because masculinity is evil. Just masculinity, the thing you're born with, the thing you have no power over because you're fucking born with. It's the very definition of sexism. And it's okay because they were, you know what? Yeah. You know what? Women were fucking treated like shit at Hollywood. You're absolutely right. Guess who wasn't doing that? The fans. The paying customer. Guess who was doing it? Some people who are still there. And you're going to lecture us on that shit? You're the ones who were abusing your women, Hollywood. You're the ones who weren't casting black people. You're the ones who were forcing gay people in the closet, not the audience. Whatever you projected on the audience was you. Whatever it was. Loki, again, these Marvel shows are surviving on hope and headcanon. And it's getting to be a bit of a pattern now. Like I said before, I can see where Loki's going in the first episode. I criticize it. A few people go, you don't know. Kang the Conqueror is going to come in, or Immortus, or Mephisto in WandaVision, or this, and there'll be a cameo and that cameo. No, these are little character studies. They're meant to kill the time in between the MCU film. Canonically, they're not going to have a lot of impact. They might introduce things. They're going to act just like a Marvel team-up book or Marvel 2-in-1. So both of those books back in the Bronze Age, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, I can't remember which one. One was to introduce characters and one was to tie up storylines that were left open. So they had a purpose, right? And essentially this is going to be introducing characters and where we can get as SJW and woke as we want. So Basha K. Ali wrote this last episode, some of the worst dialogue I have seen outside of a Star Trek Discovery episode, which has the worst dialogue. The worst dialogue. Like shit, like Twilight looks Academy Award winning compared to the fucking dialogue from Star Trek Discovery. But this was fucking bad. It's predictable. It's boring. You have a show with the trickster god, the liar of all liars, the most unreliable of unreliable narrators. And sure, they could pull the rug out, or we'll find that Loki was playing her all along, and I could be wrong. Or Sylvie will end up being the key to everything, and she'll have it all figured out. As a matter of fact, it almost feels like the hero's journey, where everybody and the audience has to finally catch up to realize what Sylvie knew all along. And she was great. I'm going to map out the hero's journey today. I'll map it out. I'll go look at Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, and I will try to map out the hero's journey for you. Put it up on Instagram, since I can't put it up on Twitter. Nothing happened. He followed her around. The only thing of significance was a MacGuffin broke, and they had to recharge the MacGuffin. So they had to go to MacGuffin Place to go recharge the MacGuffin so they can get out of the world they weren't supposed to be in. And in that meantime, we can get some characterization. And throughout that, it looked like Loki wanted to fuck himself. Well, we found out that all the variants are human. If that's the case, then when did Loki get so weak? How did Loki get his ass handed to him by body positivity time cop by herself, and then female Loki, who was a foot shorter than Tom Hiddleston, is able to walk up walls and matrix that shit in the time variance agency where her magic is muted, and was able to kill time cops, like multiple, when male Loki got beat up by body positivity time cop. Oh, I know why. Intersectional feminism. That's why. Agenda. That's why. They hired Basha K. Ali because they wanted to say they hired Basha K. Ali. They gave her all the help she could, and she crapped out a subpar episode. And believe me, Basha K. Ali will be a memory in 5 years. Save your money, Basha K. Ali. You're being used because you're not talented. You're very good at being the purse puppy of the moment for the MCU. Harsh realities that, you know what? I'm actually, I am preparing this woman for bitter, bitter, bitter disappointment, because everyone around her is lying to her, is telling her she's talented, is telling her she's funny, and she's going places. She can hold a conversation on a podcast. I wouldn't exactly call that a talent. And it's not entertaining. I just said hold a conversation. It's not one you want to listen to. I would play some of it, but I like you guys. I wouldn't do that to you. I'm going to put it in the video instead. By the way, I went out and bought it. I'm fucking so hooked on this show now. I am so hooked on this show. Babylon 5's the shit. I'm about to finish season 3. Melina Vader for $5. I'm a Latina woman and I never wanted a female doctor, and I'm not afraid to say it. Good. Don't need a female doctor to relate to. Peter Capaldi has and is my doctor and is the best. Hashtag RIP Doctor Who. Thank you for the community for staying awesome. Much love from Puerto Rico. Oh, I love Puerto Rico. Oh, Malina Vader, thank you. Thank you. I was in Puerto Rico when we got ready for our cruise. We hung out there for a day, had a fucking great time. You guys got a rainforest over there. Loquacious Primate for $1. What's up, buddy? Hail, Gary. Glad to hear that even though the Inquisition is on hiatus, you and Doomcock will be doing an Exozone every week. Yes, we will. I'm sure it will be must-watch TV content for YouTube. And the content fit for a King's Cavalry craving esoteric knowledge. Ooh, Loquacious Primate's big brain. He went to school and everything. He knows how to use the big pretty words. The Rand Man for $2. Some call it gatekeeping, but Nick Cage said in National Treasure, we're more like treasure protectors. Oh, that's right. And National Treasure is a great fucking movie, by the way. I love that movie. My Dixie wrecked. That is good. Oh, that wins. Oh, that wins. That fucking wins. So the name was My Dixie Wrecked. Yeah, I'm 12. I don't care. Hail, Senor Beekler. Henceforth, Boba Fett's Slave 1 shall now be known as Emancipator 1. Damn, that actually kind of works with the ship's origin story. Forget I said anything. I don't want to give them any ideas since they have none of their own. Hail, and they don't. And it's Soy 1 now. It's Soy 1. That's right. Disney is erasing Slave 1 as a title. It's erasing Slave 1 as a title. What can you say, man? A lot of mixed messages coming from that company. Well, not many, but some. Okay, this is just my perspective on things, but I think Jon Favreau probably has about as much effect on Star Wars overall right now as Sam Raimi does on the MCU. Until I see otherwise. The anti-derivative Jill for $10. Oh, I read that one, but thank you, Jill. That's on the donation side. Thank you for the donations. I appreciate it. Lady Greymaster for $20. Thank you, Lady Greymaster. Boss man, I'm not your boss. I'm not your boss. Not sure if you'll be watching any of Tolkien's in name only society panel, but I registered and will be taking notes. I expect a desecration of Tolkien and his works, but oft hope is born and forlorn. I haven't signed up yet. Is it like a live stream or is it something we can go and read? Yeah, I guess I'll go register. We'll see if, yeah, I'll go register. I didn't know if it was just something they're submitting papers on and we can read. But it's in a month, right? It's in a month. It was in a month. I'm reading the super chats out of order, Jake, the movie geek, but I'll read it in just a second. Thank you for the $3.99. He says, have you read my $20 super chat? Was the first one. No, but I can go back there and read it. Let's scrolling down. There it is right there. For $19.99, Jake the Movie Geek. Thank you very much. Hey, Gary, something you said a while ago on Friday Night Tights really stuck with me. And it's our future entertainment is in the past. I've never seen or read The Lord of the Rings. So I said our future entertainment is in the past. I did say that. And I've never seen or read Lord of the Rings. So I'm going to read the books and watch the films. Outstanding. Greatest trilogy ever made. You're going to love the books. I mean, it depends on your taste, though, dude. I mean, you gotta. It's fantasy, right? I'm a fantasy guy. That's what I like. I have a propensity for that. I like the more violent stuff usually, But Lord of the Rings, there's something like it's a sweet spot. It's my happy place. I'm not a prude or anything. I just don't need to have fucking sex and backstabbing and treachery and nihilism in every fucking thing I read. As a matter of fact, I'd like to have a break from it once in a while. Gary, Matlock isn't on until 5 p.m. Time to find the power button. It's the circle with the vertical line. Or do you need another AOL disc? Says Brian Kim, we love Gina Carano for $4.99. I need another AOL disc, man, obviously. Slave 1 to be renamed. Oh, no, I can't say that, Joachim Stark. No. Thank you for the 20 Swedish krona. Slave 1 is... no, I can't. I wish I could. Sorry. Michael B., thank you for the 14 Danish krona. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, folks, I got to wrap this puppy up. Went a little over. Super Chat Square Up will be up tomorrow morning, by the way. It's finished edit, but it'll be up tomorrow morning. There will be a Nerdrotic Nooner from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Wednesday, or a little over, probably. Real BBC tomorrow with Az, Heel versus Babyface, and shit, I can't remember now if it's on his channel or mine, but it's on one of our channels. I can't remember which one it was on last week. Oh my God. I'm going to fucking break out the Superman. Okay. I'm going to break it out. I'm going to put it in my office. So look for that tomorrow or on a Hot Toys maybe, but we're probably going to be intersecting times on Hot Toys. I'm not sure. Maybe we can do a simulcast. I'll figure it out. Oh, shit. Yeah, Mikey Gussler. By the way, George R. R. Martin came out and said that he wishes the book, the series didn't pass him up, and now the ending is going to be different. Oh, because I have you actually saying in my last Game of Thrones video that you said the ending was pretty much the same. So now it's different. So now we know why it was delayed. He saw the reaction to the end and changed it. But he also changed it for something else, folks. He changed it because he's surrounded by fucking NPCs and SJWs who want to cancel him at the drop of a hat, and he's scared to fucking death to publish this book because women get raped, women get beaten, and he will be canceled. He will absolutely be canceled. Oh, and he doesn't know how to end the book. Because when you set out to break something, you have no foundation. When your whole goal is to break something, you still need to make something out of that. George R. R. Martin is Tolkien's bitch. End of story. End of story. Maybe the gay community should call out SJWs and put an end to the non-canon, says Michael Strelitz for £5. Yes, that needs to happen. There's a little prison story I got for you. The one thing you learn quickly is you got to keep the peace a lot, or there'd be a fucking race riot every day, because the races just straight up didn't like each other. There was no change in that. Now, overall, why is that? Because individuals liked each other just fine. You could have a Mexican and white guy and a black guy sitting at a table in prison playing cards, and it's fine. But you get them in groups, and it's a different story. That's for the psychologists, whatever. But whenever there was trouble with somebody, each race had their leader, their tank captain or whatever. They had their boss. That you went to the shot caller, and you said, keep your boy in line or we'll take care of him. So we're warning you that your guy's getting out of line with us, with all of us, or all of them. Now, there was no us with me. I didn't play that game. Just like I don't play internet bullshit. I didn't play that fucking bullshit either. Took my lumps for it. Don't fucking care. I just fucking minded my own business and I never got in any trouble. You know, as a matter of fact, yeah, I'll do that in just a second. It gives me an idea. But as I was saying, you went to the shot caller and said, hey, keep your fucking guy in line. And then the shot caller either put the guy in line or said, no, the guy's right. Fuck you. That's kind of, we need to see that happen. We need Hollywood to start calling themselves out. We need the alphabet community to start calling themselves out. Needs to happen. You're absolutely right. You know what? I understand some of the alphabet, not all of the. I understand. Get me straight on this one. I understand the words they are saying of their argument. It's not one I agree with at all. Like the whole, we'll just say sexual education shouldn't even be in elementary school, period. Maybe sixth grade. Maybe. That's when I started learning about it, was sixth grade. And there should be nothing before that. Nothing. And as far as transgender story time with little kids, no, that shit needs to be fucking called out. It needs to be called out. Again, I've heard their argument for it. And I hear the words. And there's certain lines in the sand. No, it can wait. It can wait a few years. It doesn't affect development or anything. If anything, it'll fuck it up. I mean, do you want an example? Look at all the kids from Hollywood. Look at how fucking great they're doing. Look at all those child actors who are just well adjusted. You guys are crazy. The new She Mega Red design looks awesome with the 90s throwback thigh pouches. Okay, for one, if you're running around in battle, your thigh pouch isn't going to fucking stay on. It's going to come loose. For fuck's sake. I have a Dark Knight Batman Mezco that's got a thigh patch. When I move he's got a thigh pouch. When I move the figure, the fucking thigh pouch falls off. I can't even say it. I can't even fucking say it. Thank you, Lady Greymaster. I'm not Boss Man. I'm Gary. You can call me Gary. All right. That's it, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to the Modrotics. Thank you to everyone who donated. You are all appreciated, and it will be read on the Square Up. Next live show will be tomorrow, 10 a.m., but I don't know if Az is up. Az, are you out there watching me? Because I know he doesn't miss a second of my fucking live streams. Could you, George, what are you doing? I can't remember if it was on my channel. I can't remember if it was on my channel or not. So I'm sorry. Real BBC will be somewhere tomorrow at 10 a.m. But we'll be ready. George Moilo. George. $200. Number one. Amazon is intent on enslaving everyday people's spirits by rewriting history to prey on the animal heart inside all men, breathing undead life into the dark orc within, twisting Tolkien's legendarium into the new emotional nose candy confection to satisfy the relentless SJW addiction. Motherfuck, this guy can write. God dang it, George. Oh my God. $300. Yeah, I gotta drink some water, George. Jeez. Sorry. George Moilo for $300. Holy shit. Number 2, they don't inspire, they infect. Demanding us all be the same. Returned to the muck, back into the thorns as fallen orcs or lost in the sparkle of shiny, irrelevant things. All condemned in a life as Golem, which is the saddest story. The hell with them. Hope is the anchor of the soul. Refuse their despair. Keep fighting. We'll win. We will fucking win. All hail. All hail George Moilo. All hail George Moilo. Thank you so much, George. And yeah, we can, Joey Bryant, thank you for the $10. This just in, General Thunderbolt Ross has completed her sex change. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, George. Thank you, Daniel, for the thank you, everyone. Real quick. Okay, so how Lord of the Rings connects on a human level. Here's a great example of it. Golem. Golem is the most sympathetic, empathetic character in the story for me. Thought I heard something behind me. Because he is addiction personified to me. Now, there's no way J.R.R. Tolkien could have known, outside of his addiction to tobacco, maybe, what addiction is like, especially addiction to speed. To speed, to crank, to meth. It's a different kind of addiction than opiates or anything. I mean, addiction's addiction, but they all have like their little nuances and difference. And it is fucking hellacious because there's a point. It's like I would imagine it's like a crack addiction. There's just no relief anymore. You don't get high. The drug stops working, but you need it. You need it more than fucking sex. You need it more than water. You need it more than life. You can't do anything. You can't make a decision. I can't make it until you get that. That's your life. It's your food. And it's like your brain gets, it's like my brain got turned into a shark's brain. You know, shark, all they do is fucking eat. That's all it was. And whatever I had to do to get that drug, I would do it. So that's what Golem it represents, that fucking horror that you are just bound to this thing that has like a chain around you. I mean, like it controls you. You are its like absolute slave. And it's hard to explain for people who aren't addicts, but that's the way it is. That's the brain just gets wired like that, and it's all you can think about. And it is very hard to get out of that spell. And it's not a spell because it's always there. It's there right now. It's there right now while we're talking. I am in danger every day of going back to that. Golem in the cave. Golem killing Deagle for that ring right away, right? And it was the ring who did it. You know, Golem, I mean, wasn't the greatest guy in the world, but the ring took him over. And he was in hell for 500 years, wasting away, just looking at the ring, thinking about the ring, you know, and only surviving so he can and the ring took him over and it consumed him. Remember, that's what it said. It consumed him. That's where, I mean, watching that play out in reading it, you know, it's that's how I identified. That was my human hook. And it wasn't even with the human, right? Because it doesn't need to be with human. It's the human condition. That's how we connect to each other with these stories, is we find commonalities in events, in behaviors, in what happens in the story. It doesn't matter what we fucking look like. I don't look like Golem yet. Maybe I will when I'm older. but I don't need to look like somebody. Again, I don't identify with the Southern California cheerleader who kills vampires, but I like the story. So Lord of the Rings must be protected. It must. So I'll be working on a video for that, and a couple of more. And I got to get 2 out before the end of the month. So you'll probably get 1 tomorrow and 1 in the next day. I've been working on them for a long time, but I got to blame Babylon 5. It's Babylon 5's fault. Oh, it's so fucking good. And like the best, I couldn't find a Blu-ray, so I just got the DVD. It doesn't matter. The quality is shit anyway. It looks fine. HBO Max is terrible, by the way. It's fucking terrible. You watch 3 or 4 episodes, then it craps out. Fix that, HBO Max. First world problems. And some other advice I was thinking of. When you're getting into content creating, I remember when I went to prison, and a guy saved my life by saying, 3 things you don't fuck with. Gambling, drugs, and queers. And you stay away from those 3 things, you'll be fine, you know? And since I am not a member of the alphabet community, I was like, okay, that one's fine. But the drugs and the gambling, for sure, those are 2 things to stay away from. Remember, this was 1991, so he was of his time. Everything was segregated. It was hell, but I didn't. So when you're content creating, if you're thinking about, I've told a lot of people to come in, like, and yeah, we need a lot of people to speak common sense. It's a great hobby. I wouldn't say go out to make money. That I don't know. I would say go out and keep your expectations realistic. That's all. You don't want to get disappointed. And it doesn't really matter. I was having so much fun doing my thing for years. I was like, I don't care if anybody watches or not. I'm having fun. And then people started watching. But for the longest time, people didn't. I didn't know how to get my name out there, but that doesn't matter. I wasn't worthy of watching probably. So yeah, I would recommend the things I have learned. Jeremy talked about this. For one, don't be afraid to go out there. Just put yourself out there. People are going to criticize you. Don't worry about it. Don't let the bad comments go to your heart. Don't let the good comments go to your head. Listen to your gut on all things, including relationships. And collaborations and stuff like that. Make sure you get to know people. And I would say never, ever, ever, ever get in little groups and start flirting around, especially if you're married. I wouldn't do that either. That's the one thing I would suggest people not do. What I try to do is a little bit of the arm's length thing, right? For some things, I am a married man, obviously, a happily married man, and I mostly stay out. So I am happily ignorant and vastly unaware of most of what's going on. There's always stuff going on, folks. And like I said before, not everybody has to like each other. Not everybody has to be buddies. But I think it's really important to if we say we're about the fans, for the fans, then it has to be in our best interest to not have them fighting each other. I mean, you're always going to fight each other a little bit. I understand that. It's not kumbaya all the time, right? But we can't have people going at each other over drama. We just can't. And if people are for that, then they're not for the fans. Period. If they're for the drama, and it's fine. You want to be for the drama. But don't say you're for the fans and then say you're for the drama, And hey, some people like drama. There's plenty of drama. There's drama every day. But it's not anything I care that much about, or I'm going to stop my day to do stuff. So thanks, everyone. I appreciate it. Again, no more Inquisition. My moving process is going to be 3 to 4 months. After that, who knows? there will be an Exozone Weekly Thursday. It's going to be 12 this Thursday. It's going to change time later. Doomcock and I still need to discuss that. I'm going to probably bring someone on to assist on this channel, and we're going to make sure it gets uploaded on our alternate channels on a regular basis, and we'll have playlists for you so you can follow it, and it should be fun. It should be fun. It seems like YouTube has laxed a little bit on the UFO shit. Don't know how conspiratorial we can get. We'll see how far we can push the boundaries. But it's going to be on the main channel. Tomorrow, Real BBC, Nerderotic Nooner returns Wednesday. Lauren Chen on Friday Night Tights. This Friday, Chrissy Mayer. The following Friday, working on a big guest. Those are 2 great guests, by the way. And I'll be back up on Twitter in a couple of days. I thank you all for your support and your time. Please enjoy some credits.
Nerderotic.com.
Oh, where did my credits go? That sucks. I just lost my credits. Let's see if I can find them. In the meantime, I can read a super chat. No, they just disappeared. That is crazy. Oh, these might be old credits, but they'll work for now. Sorry, I'll have to get the old credits back. But I will read the super chat. Thank you for the $20, Simple Sandman. For please don't get the jab, Gary. Well, remember, I'm not a doctor or the doctor, and nobody here is. But I appreciate advice. I really do. We'll need during and after the zombie apocalypse. Well, you need all of us. I can't wait for some UFO stories. Thank you, Simple Sandman. And yeah, I haven't got the jab yet. I'm more concerned about my son. But I probably shouldn't talk about it too much. Thank you all again. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. These are the older credits. We actually do have an updated credits of all the new members, and I thank you. By the way, there will be a member stream on Thursday. I'll have to change the time. I think it's going to be more towards the evening. I will let you know. Pay attention to the community section. Also, Vegas. Yes, Las Vegas. The date of our first meetup is set, August 12th at 6 p.m. at the Millennium Fandom Bar, 900 South Las Vegas Boulevard. Think of a nerd bar. Think of a sports bar, but it's a nerd bar. It's karaoke night. There'll be a limited number of free drink tickets, free food, and free prizes. We will have a second date and location locked down very soon. I will let you know. The Vegas meetup overall is August 11th through 15th during the Star Trek convention. And yes, I will be going to the Star Trek convention one of those days. I hope to see you there. This is my thank you to you. No, there are no ticket charging or no tickets. No, it's free if you can get there. Love to see ya. Take care, everyone.